Hi, I'm Donna Charpentier with Hammond Residential, and we're here today talking about real estate law. It's always been important for anyone looking to purchase a piece of property to have their personal interests represented by an attorney, but never more so than in today's volatile market where real estate laws and financing rules and regulations are changing constantly. So to that end, I'm here today with Yitz McGinsey of the law firm Gill Martin, McGinsey and Ross to talk about this topic. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Donna.
Thank you. So a buyer, someone's looking to purchase a piece of real estate and they may have a question about why they would need an attorney. And what would you say to that person?
The first thing I would tell them is technically by law they do not have to have an attorney. There's no requirement. But it would be a very good idea because they typically would be the only one without an attorney in the transaction. Typically the seller will have an attorney, and if they're obtaining a mortgage, the lender will have an attorney as well. And can be a very complicated process from a legal aspect, and it involves a number of complicated legal documentation that the average person would not be able to navigate on their own, and they would be best off served with an attorney that has been through the process.
Okay. So are there different legal considerations for someone who's purchasing a single family versus someone who's purchasing a condo?
Absolutely. And the biggest aspect of the difference would be condominium documents. Whenever somebody is purchasing a condominium, that means they are buying the condominium unit, and they are also buying a percentage interest in the entire condominium, the building, the yards, the outside, the common areas. And those documents, condominium documents, will define what is Unit 1 versus Unit 2 versus Unit 10, and what is considered common area, what is considered exclusive use area. And the average person would need an experienced attorney who's reviewed condominium documents to navigate through those documents. The buyer themselves should read them also because they're the ones that will be living in the condominium. So they can be looking at it from a practical point of view, such as until what time can I play my stereo?
Right.
Where can I park my car? But from a legal aspect, they should have an attorney review them as well. The typical transaction, depending on a number of items, could be, for the personal representation, could be anywhere from about $600 to $1,200.
So is there any way for someone to reduce those expenses?
Absolutely. There is when one is trying to budget the costs generally involved in purchasing a piece of property, a lot of those costs would be fixed costs, and they would be determined by how much you're spending on the property and how much you're borrowing if you're obtaining a mortgage. As I mentioned also earlier, when you asked about whether somebody needs to have an attorney, I mentioned that it's a very wise idea because if you as a buyer don't have an attorney, you'll be the only one in the transaction without one, because the seller will have one and the lender will have one. Because of the fact that the tasks that your personal attorney will be performing are not in conflict with the tasks that the lender's attorney will be performing, a way to cut your costs is to use the same lawyer to represent you in your personal aspect of the deal, as well as the same attorney to act as the closing agent for the lender. The typical attorney will reduce the fees if they're performing both functions.